In the darkest corners of history, there are mysteries that refuse to die, real cases so twisted, so haunting, that they claw at the minds of investigators, daring them to find answers that may never come. These are stories of people who vanished without a trace, killers who slipped through the cracks, and deaths that defy everything we think we know. Tonight, we're unraveling 3 true unsolved mysteries that still send shivers down the spines of those who've tried to solve them. A medical student steps into a crowded bar and is never seen again. A serial killer carves a path of terror through a city, leaving only questions. And a woman's burned body in a remote valley hides a secret life that no one can crack. These aren't just tales to scare you, they're real, and they might make you lock your doors tonight. So, turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and step into the shadows with us. But be warned, the truth can be more terrifying than any nightmare. While you're watching, comment "I'm ready to join us on this chilling journey." Let's dive into the darkness together. It's April 1st, 2006, in Columbus, Ohio, and spring break is in full swing. The Ugly Tuna Saloona, a popular bar near Ohio State University, is packed with students ready to let loose. Neon signs glow, music blasts, and the air hums with energy. In the middle of it all is Brian Schaffer, a 27-year-old medical student with a bright future ahead. At 6'2", with a warm smile and a knack for making everyone laugh, his friends call him the life of the party. But by the end of this night, Brian would vanish without a trace, leaving behind a mystery that still baffles investigators today. Brian was in his 2nd year of med school, dreaming of becoming a doctor. But life hadn't been easy lately. Just weeks earlier, his mother had passed away from cancer, a loss that hit him hard. Still, that night, he seemed upbeat, planning a romantic trip with his girlfriend Alexis. He'd joined his friend Clint for a night of bar hopping, and by midnight, they landed at the Ugly Tuna. To everyone around him, Brian was just another guy enjoying spring break. No one could have predicted that this crowded, lively bar would be the last place he'd ever be seen. Around midnight, Brian and Clint settled into the Ugly Tuna, blending into the sea of students. They drank, laughed, and soaked in the chaos. At 1:55 a.m., security cameras captured Brian outside the bar, chatting briefly with 2 women near the entrance. He appeared relaxed, maybe even flirting. Then, he turned and walked back inside, climbing the escalator to the bar's main floor. That moment, frozen on grainy footage, is the last confirmed sighting of Brian Schaffer. By 2 a.m., when the bar closed, he was gone. The Ugly Tuna had one public exit, covered by cameras, but Brian never appears leaving. It was as if he'd evaporated in the middle of a packed bar. When Clint realized Brian wasn't outside at closing time, he assumed his friend had gone home. But Brian's phone was off, and his nearby apartment was empty. No signs of activity, no clothes missing, nothing. His friends and family reported him missing the next day, and police descended on the Ugly Tuna. They scoured every inch of the bar, from the bathrooms to the storage rooms, even checking nearby construction sites and the Olentangy River. Nothing. Not a single trace of Brian. The CCTV footage was their best hope, but it only deepened the mystery. Every patron leaving the bar that night was accounted for, except Brian. How could someone just disappear in a room full of people? Investigators interviewed over 50 patrons and staff, hoping for a clue. A bartender recalled Brian seeming distracted later that night, as if something was on his mind, but she couldn't pinpoint why. Clint, Brian's friend, was questioned extensively, but his story held up. He'd lost track of Brian in the crowd. Police explored every angle. Could Brian have slipped out a service exit not covered by cameras? The bar's layout made it unlikely, as staff monitored those doors. Could he have been abducted inside the bar? There were no signs of a struggle, no witnesses to anything unusual. Some even wondered if Brian had walked away from his life, overwhelmed by grief or stress. But his bank accounts remained untouched, his car was still parked, and he'd been making plans with Alexis. A voluntary disappearance just didn't fit. As the investigation stalled, a disturbing detail emerged. In 2007, someone posted a message on a memorial website for Brian, claiming, "Brian is alive." The IP address was untraceable, and police dismissed it as a cruel hoax, but it sent chills through Brian's family and friends. Could someone know more than they were letting on? Theories began to spiral. Was there a predator in the bar that night, blending into the spring break chaos? Some pointed to other mysterious vanishings in Ohio, wondering if there was a pattern. Others speculated a tragic accident, like Brian falling into a construction site, went unnoticed. But with no body, no crime scene, and no answers, every theory hit a dead end. Nearly 2 decades later, Brian Schaffer's disappearance remains one of the most perplexing cases in Ohio history. The CCTV anomaly, Brian entering the Ugly Tuna but never exiting, defies logic, haunting investigators who've pored over the footage countless times. His family still holds out hope, keeping his face on missing posters, but the Ugly Tuna Saloona, now closed, holds its secrets tight. Was Brian taken? Did he vanish by choice? Or is the truth something we can't even imagine? How could someone disappear from a bar full of people? What's your theory on Brian Schaffer? Whatever happened, one thing is certain. The night of April 1st, 2006, swallowed Brian whole, and it's never given him back. Cleveland, Ohio, in the mid-1930s, is a city on its knees. The Great Depression has left thousands jobless, and along Kingsbury Run, a desolate ravine cutting through the city's heart, shantytowns house the desperate and forgotten. It's a place where hope goes to die, and where a killer begins to hunt. In September 1935, 2 boys stumble across a horrifying sight in the Run. 2 male torsos, headless, cleanly dismembered with surgical precision. The Cleveland torso murderer, later dubbed the Mad Butcher of Kingsbury Run, has claimed his first known victims, and a reign of terror is about to grip the city. The discovery sends shockwaves through Cleveland. The victims, both drifters, are unidentifiable without their heads, and their bodies are drained of blood, suggesting a killer with chilling expertise. Over the next 3 years, the torso murderer strikes again and again, claiming at least 12 lives, though some believe the count is higher. His targets are often the city's most vulnerable: drifters, sex workers, people who could disappear without much notice. Each body is found decapitated, dismembered, sometimes mutilated, left in plain sight as if the killer wants to be seen. This isn't just murder, it's a gruesome performance,